Okay, so this is for the alphabet graffiti color study project that we're doing. This is my example, and it is sort of the finished product. I have the letters of the alphabet A through X because there are only 24 boxes and there are 26 letters in the alphabet, so we're going to miss the last two. And then each row has a different color scheme. And we will go over those so you will know which ones you should do for each row. But what I want to do right now is talk to you about how to make some of the letters. So you will get a sheet that looks like this. I've already divided it up evenly for you with these light lines for the boxes. But so it's a little bit bigger. I am just going to sort of demonstrate on this paper, and the boxes are a little bit bigger so that you can sort of see better, hopefully. So as far as drawing the letters, they need to be fillable. So think, block letters or bubble letters. Those are the very easiest ones. Simply, if you need to do this for every letter, that's fine. What you want to do is first start by, let's say, drawing the letter. And we're going to go with capital letters all the way through. That'll be one of your project guidelines. So if you draw it, you want to draw it so it's a little bit smaller than the box, because then what you're going to do, let's say you want to turn this into a bubble letter. You are going to trace around the letter that you've written. So you write it just like you normally would, but then you're going to very carefully trace around it. And for bubble letters, you're going to curve at the edges. And you want to try to keep the same amount of space, so the same amount of space from where you're drawing to the line here, and then again from the line here to where you're drawing up here, all the way around. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And then you will use an eraser, and I'll have several big pink erasers out for you. And you will erase the letter from the inside, and you will be left with your bubble letter. Okay, so this fills up the space pretty well. It goes from top to bottom, and it's not real narrow. Some of the letters are a little trickier when it comes to, let's say, the letter A, because it'll have this space in the middle. Okay, so you'll do the same thing. Let's say I want to make a block letter on this one. So instead of curving around the edges, I'm going to make them straight, and I'm going to keep everything straight and sort of sharp and pointy on the edges instead of curved. Okay, now the last thing I want to do is inside of here, I sort of need to do that tracing thing where I have the same amount of space, but I need to do it in the middle as well. And then I'm going to use my pencil eraser just because it's a little skinnier for now. And then if I erase it, then I have my black letter A. So what you may notice is actually that I sort of press kind of hard here. So when I erase the letter underneath, you can still see it. That's going to be troublesome if you are using a light color, like if you're using a yellow or an orange. So you want to make sure that you're drawing lightly. So I need to make sure I do that from now on. You can also get super creative with the space that you have. So one way is to think of the negative space. So if I wanted to draw the letter H, for example, I could simply do that by drawing the middle like this and utilizing my edges here. So now I have the letter H already built in. That works really well for E and a couple other letters. Another way that you can do this is to use ovals. Okay, so I'm going to draw it down here. Just simply turning ovals in different directions like this, but you want to do this very lightly. So if I'm going to make the letter G, I'm going to start by connecting ovals, kind of look like sausage links, to make the sort of curved shape for the G. And remember, you want to fill up the space, okay? So this is probably a little bit on the smaller side. I probably could have went a little bigger, but that's okay. And then what you can do after that is you can sort of go around and trace around the outside, all the way around, like this. And then now you have the inside. You can erase these loops and you get the idea all the way around. Now I have this interesting bubble letter G, okay? Instead of just drawing straight standard type, like if you want to get a little fancy with it or creative, you could do something like, if you wanted to do a K, okay, you could sort of curve it, you could draw it regular, and then again, you want to just go around very carefully, trying to keep that same amount of space all the way around. All the way around back to the top. Okay, and then you just go and erase the middle. And then you have your sort of curvier K like that. You can keep things interesting, try to change it up a little bit. You can overlap. So I'm going to do the letter I, and I'm just going to overlap a bunch of rectangles like this. You can even keep it like that if you want. Try to draw some of the letters a little different. So instead of just a regular S, maybe you could sort of, you know, come up with something a little different. Again, then going around the outside. Okay. You want to keep your letters inside of the box, so they shouldn't dip down below. You want to try to keep them capital, so capital letters. Hopefully you know what those are. Don't worry about colors or patterns as you're sketching these out. We'll talk more about that when it comes time to color. I'll do a separate video on that. So right now you just want to go through and fill in the boxes with the alphabet starting with A and finishing with X. And use some of these tips to help you get started, and also the handout that I gave you on the back of your color theory study guide.